CEO of the National Western Stock Show. The National Western Stock Show and our entire agricultural family across the world were heartbroken by the passing of Mason Lowe. Our thoughts and prayers go out to his family and everyone associated in this great sport at this very, very difficult time. At this time, I'd like to introduce Sean Gleason, who is the President and CEO of the PBR, for some opening comments.
Thank you, Paul. I am Sean Gleason. I'm the CEO of Professional Bull Riders. We're here today because Mason Lowe suffered a fatal injury after getting bucked off of Hard Times, the bull that he was on, in the fourth section of round 2 during the PBR event that was held here in conjunction with the National Western Stock Show. Mason was pulled under his bull during the buck-off, and the bull's hind left leg struck him in the chest. Mason was wearing the required protective vest, but he suffered a massive chest injury that caused damage to his heart. He was immediately transported to Denver Health, where he was pronounced dead after his arrival in the emergency room. Mason is survived by his wife Abby, his mother Melissa Weisenhunt, his father Stacy Lowe, his sister Kayla Lowe, and his niece Blazy Lowe. Mason was a cowboy his entire life. He started riding milk cows when he was 3 years old with the help of his father. He joined PBR in October of 2011, shortly after he turned 18, and by August of 2012, he had already made his debut on PBR's premier televised tour. Mason won one of our most prestigious events. He won the Ty Murray Invitational in Albuquerque, New Mexico in 2016. Mason also rode 3-time PBR World Champion Bucking Bull Bruiser for a career high 91 points. Mason was only one of 9 riders to ever cover Bruiser. Mason had a career riding percentage of 40%, covering 141 of 360 attempts in his career with the PBR. But Mason had a unique ability to dress them up and make them all look good. Mason was riding at his typically high level, covering 7 of 10 bulls this year, so far this year, as he was making his way back to the Premier Tour following a spate of injuries. He made the PBR World Finals 3 times and was well on his way to his 4th. Mason was unquestionably one of the most personable and beloved bull riders that has ever come through the PBR. His smile was infectious, and you only had to look at his lasting friendships with virtually everybody that he met, from bull rider to staff, friends and fans, to know what Mason was all about as a man. Our first priority the last 24 hours have been with Mason's family. We've been focused on easing their burden and pain during a very difficult time. We've been also focused on Mason's fellow bull riders who are going to come out tonight, strap it on, and ride their bulls in honor of Mason in the final rounds here at the National Western Stock Show. I have a statement I'd like to read from Mason's wife, Abby. Mason was the love of my life, and he was my best friend. He loved the sport of bull riding and his PBR family. He was loved by his family and friends, had a kind soul and a heart of gold, and he was always willing to help someone in need. I appreciate all of the kind words spoken about Mason. He will be dearly missed. We've set up a fundraising site in partnership with the National Western Stock Show, and I'd like to ask Paul if he could give some of the details about that. There are already significant contributions to that. All of the money will go to support Mason's family, and then we'll take a few questions.
As Sean mentioned, in memory of Mason, the National Western Stock Show and the PBR have started to collect funds on our site at the National Western Stock Show. That site is nationalwestern.com. We invite those that are so compelled to donate to log on and make a contribution. 100% of these funds will go to the Lowe family, and donors will receive a donation letter from the National Western Stock Show, as we are a 501c3 nonprofit. At this point, we've already collected nearly $80,000 from just contributions from the rodeo family, the stock show board, and those that earlier today reached out to me. So we hope to contribute a significant amount to the Lowe family to help ease their pain. This time, Sean and I will be happy to answer any questions you might have.
Yes, sir.
Can you tell us how often an event like this, a death of rodeo like this happens?
Mason's death was the third death in PBR produced or sanctioned competition. We had one rider in Brazil pass away last year from injuries, and we had Glenn Keeley die in March of 2000 in Albuquerque, New Mexico.
For many folks who aren't involved in this sport and don't understand, can you just kind of articulate, riders know the risks going in, don't they?
The riders absolutely know the risks, and to be perfectly honest, I know that every one of them would be riding bulls in their backyard for nothing if they were not competing on a national stage. And so as professional athletes are rewarded for something that they love to do.
What happens to the bull?
The bull absolutely unintentionally killed Mason. It's difficult during a bull ride for the rider to control himself during the ride, but it's also difficult for the bull. And in this particular case, he had no idea that Mason had been sucked underneath him. So the bull did not do this with any malintent.
Does it return to competition?
The bull will return to competition. When Glenn Keeley died at a PBR event in Albuquerque in 2000, the bull that stepped on him was called Promised Land, which was a world champion bucking bull. And 2 nights later, Owen Washburn had to get on that bull and rode him for 95.5 points to win the event. And that's the mentality of a bull rider. They get back up on the bull and they keep fighting because they love what they do, and that's what our sport is all about.
Can you talk a little bit about the tributes that y'all are doing tonight in honor of Mason?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, from last night to tonight is a very short window, but we've been able to put together a tribute that will honor Mason, his great career with us, his personality, his infectious personality, and we'll run that tonight, but we'll also run it this weekend in events in Phoenix, as well as our minor league events across the country.
There'll also be an in-arena fundraiser this evening where our volunteers will walk around with a boot collecting money for those that wish to contribute to Mason and that fund this evening. And again, 100% of those donations are going to the family.
What do you tell people that are hearing the news of this, who are still planning on coming to the rodeo, who may be a little worried about it now?
Well, bull riding is a dangerous sport, but I think that's why people have made us one of the fastest growing sports in the history of sports. Nobody wants to see anybody get injured, but it's a dangerous sport, and they know it. There's been 2 deaths on this tour in the 26 years that this tour has been operating. I think that, I don't have statistics, but if you look at other sports, there's injuries and death as well across pretty much all contact sports. So it's unlikely to happen again, but it's always ever present.
Can you talk a little bit about what that protective gear is? I mean, I know we see those bull riders in a vest, but can you describe what that kind of is, what it's made of, and why it's important for these bull riders to wear it?
Yeah, the vests are made of a variety of materials. There's a couple manufacturers, but every one of them is designed to disperse the weight of a hit from a hoof or a horn or against a wall or the rails. The material inside is designed to disperse the weight. In this particular case, Mason took a shot that was that no vest probably would have helped.
How heavy was is that bull?
I don't know how heavy that bull is. They average between 1,500 and 2,000 pounds.
Has he ridden this bull before?
I don't know that.
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much.
Anything else? Thank you.